If you're over 60, this one everyday food could silently raise your risk of a stroke while you sleep. No warning, no pain. Then the next you can't speak clearly, your balance is gone, or your arm won't move. As a brain doctor, I've seen far too many older adults suffer strokes. Not from smoking, from lack of exercise, but from something they trusted. Meat, yes. Certain meats, especially those most Americans over 60 eat weekly, can quietly damage your blood vessels, spike your blood pressure overnight, and trigger a life-changing stroke. While your body rests, to bed feeling fine and wake up not recognizing your own reflection. Today I'm going to walk you through 5 meats that can silently sabotage your brain, especially during the early morning hours when your risk is highest. If you eat bacon, deli meats, liver, grilled steak or fried chicken, this video could save your life. Before we begin, ask yourself honestly, is your favorite meat keeping you full or slowly stealing your future? Let's find out before we dive in. If you haven't subscribed yet, you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, take a type 1 in the comments, if not type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Bacon, the midnight stroke trigger. As a brain doctor, I've treated countless seniors who thought they were doing everything right, eating a balanced breakfast, watching their sugar, even walking every morning. But still they ended up in my emergency room, confused, slurring their words, paralyzed on one side, and one of the most common and heartbreaking triggers I see again and again. Bacon, yes. Let me tell you about Mr. Walter H. Navy officer from Virginia Beach. Every morning for nearly a decade, he followed the same routine: 2 scrambled eggs, black coffee, and 2 crisp strips of bacon. "It's my little joy," he told me once. His wife found him collapsed on the bathroom floor. He couldn't speak, his right arm was limp, suffered a massive ischemic stroke in his sleep. What shocked his family even more? His cholesterol wasn't sky high, his blood sugar was under control, pressure had spiked unpredictably around 3 a.m. Something we call a nocturnal surge, a dangerous phenomenon in seniors that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. Here's where bacon comes in. Bacon is more than just salty meat. It's loaded with sodium nitrite, a chemical preservative that stiffens blood vessels over time, raises blood pressure and disrupts your body's nighttime cardiovascular rhythm, especially in people over 65, whose arteries are already less flexible. Combine that with saturated fat, and you've created the perfect conditions for a clot to form while you sleep. But the real danger: most seniors don't feel anything. They go to bed feeling fine and never realize their heart and brain are fighting to keep up until the moment something breaks. Mr. Walter survived, but he now walks with a brace on his leg and speaks through a therapist. He told me with tears in his eyes, "I thought I was just enjoying my morning. I didn't know I was feeding my own stroke." And he's not alone. The CDC warns that most Americans consume nearly double the recommended sodium limit each day, and bacon is a top offender for seniors. The safe sodium intake is about 1,500 mg per day, but just 2 strips of bacon can push you past 400 mg before 9 a.m., and yet bacon still appears on thousands of breakfast plates in retirement homes, diners, and even hospitals. Why? Because no one talks about the real cost. A life permanently changed, a memory lost. To speak, if you're over 65, you think twice before reaching for that slice. Ask yourself, is this worth risking the independence I've fought so hard to keep? Because the truth is, what tastes good today could silently steal your tomorrow. But bacon isn't the only innocent meat hiding in your fridge that puts your brain at risk. In fact, seniors believe is heart healthy, when in reality it's been linked to deadly brain bleeds, especially if you're on blood thinners. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number 2. 2 processed meats, the silent saboteurs of your brain. When most seniors think about processed meats like deli turkey, ham, sausage, or hot dogs, staples of American life. A quick sandwich, a holiday favorite, but what if I told you that these everyday foods could be quietly preparing your brain for a medical disaster? That's not fear-mongering, that's experience. One of my patients, Mrs. Year-old retired librarian from Ohio, Used to make herself a simple lunch every day, 2 slices of white bread, of deli ham, and a smear of mustard. It's light, she told me. Better than fried food, right, of high cholesterol, no family history of stroke. One morning, she called her daughter in a panic, confused, dizzy and unable to finish her sentences at the ear. Scans revealed a hemorrhagic stroke, not from a fall, not from trauma, but from a small fragile blood vessel deep in her brain that had simply given out. The cause: a deadly combination of blood thinners. She was taking aspirin daily, and years of consuming processed meats packed with sodium nitrate and preservatives, which had weakened her blood vessels and made her blood more prone to bleeding. Processed meats contain chemicals like nitrites and phosphates, which lining of your arteries, reduce their flexibility to chronic inflammation. In older adults, this inflammation can cause small vessel disease in the brain, a condition strongly associated with stroke, dementia, and even walking difficulty. But that's only part of the danger. Many seniors take medications like aspirin, Plavix, or warfarin for heart health. Add in high-sodium processed meats, and you're unknowingly thinning your blood past the safety threshold. The result: one sudden nosebleed could become a brain hemorrhage. One faint headache could be your only warning, before you lose your ability to walk, speak, family, misses, but barely. She spent 11 days in the hospital, 6 weeks in rehabilitation, and now walks with a cane. She told me, "I thought I was eating light, I had no idea I was slowly breaking my own brain." This is the price we pay for convenience, independence, lost memories erased, families shaken, if you're over 65, and eat deli meats more than twice a week. Especially if you're on any blood thinner, you need to understand this isn't just a sandwich. This is a gamble, and yet not all meats that put your brain at risk are in cold cuts or sausages. There's one you've probably been told is good for your blood, rich in iron, but in seniors, it can quietly raise the pressure inside your skull to dangerous levels. 3. The hidden threat, lurking in your liver. Most older adults think of liver as a superfood. It's packed with iron. They say it's good for energy. Right, that's what many were taught growing up, the Great Depression and post-war era, when liver was seen as a powerful way to build blood. But here's the terrifying for seniors: eating organ meats like beef, dangerous. It can raise the pressure inside your skull without you even knowing it. Let me tell you about Mr. Harold Jenkins, old retired truck driver from Kansas. A proud independent man, Harold believed in old-fashioned strength. He took pride in staying sharp. Once a week, himself a hearty meal, liver and onions, used to make. It's pure fuel, a routine visit, but over time, change. He started experiencing blurred vision, then came the headaches, dull at first, then pounding. He had moments where he slurred his words, felt dizzy, even forgot where he parked his truck. When we ran tests and scanned his brain, the results were shocking. Elevated intracranial pressure, his brain was under stress. Not from a tumor, not from trauma, but from toxic levels of vitamin A. You see, liver, high in retinol, the active form of vitamin A. And unlike ESAV water-soluble vitamins, vitamin A is fat-soluble, meaning it accumulates in your body, particularly in the liver, and even the brain. Over time, liver function slows with age. This accumulation becomes toxic. What happens next can mimic a stroke. Nausea, blurred or double vision, dizziness, speech difficulty, and confusion. In some cases, it leads to a condition called pseudotumor cerebri, tumor caused by pressure inside the skull. If left unchecked, it can cause permanent vision loss and even cognitive decline. Harold was devastated. Idea that something he thought was healthy, something he grew up believing in, could harm him so severely. Tears: "Doc, to stay strong. I didn't know I was poisoning my own brain." The cost: he lost much of his peripheral vision, he had to give up driving. Eye pressure checks, and a quiet fear that one more meal could push his brain over the edge. For seniors, vitamin A is around 3,000 IU per day, yet one serving of beef liver, can deliver more than 20,000 IU in a single meal. Eat it regularly, and your body simply cannot cope. And here's the part no one tells you: most multivitamins already contain vitamin A. Add liver on top, and you're stacking doses without knowing it. So the next time you think about cooking up liver for strength, ask yourself, is this helping my brain or hurting it when I least expect it? But liver isn't the only meat quietly sabotaging your brain health. There's another one that looks innocent on the outside, but when it's grilled or blackened, it creates invisible toxins that inflame your blood vessels and set the stage for the stroke you never see coming. And finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Grilled red meats when charred becomes a stroke risk. There's something comforting about a backyard barbecue. The sizzle of steaks on the grill, the smell of meat searing over open flames. For many seniors, it's not just food, but what if I told you that the same smoky flavor you love could be quietly inflaming your blood vessels and preparing your brain for a devastating stroke? That's exactly what happened to one of my patients, Mr. a retired mail carrier from Florida. He was strong, active and sharp as a tack. Family cookouts, he grilled steak, thick, juicy, with those dark, that's flavor, he'd say with a grin. After a long grilling weekend, Frank woke up dizzy and disoriented. His wife noticed his face was drooping slightly, and he kept repeating himself. We ran tests. He had experienced a transient ischemic attack, a warning stroke. Though the effects wore off within hours, the message was clear: starved of blood. The real shock came when we looked deeper into his habits. He didn't smoke, ate grilled red meat, specifically charred beef, almost every weekend. Here's what most people don't know: when meat is grilled at high temperatures, especially until it blackens or chars, it forms dangerous compounds called heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These compounds damage the inner lining of blood vessels, creating inflammation and increasing the risk of plaque buildup, high blood pressure and blood clots. In older adults, this damage compounds quickly and silently. Worse, these toxins don't just affect the heart. Studies have linked regular intake of charred meats to small vessel disease in the brain, which can lead to memory problems, reduced motor function, and Frank told me afterward, "Doc was giving my family joy. I didn't know I was playing roulette with my brain." The cost: he now lives in fear of a more serious stroke. He's had to give up grilling, blood pressure daily, and rely on medication to keep his arteries open. Here's the truth that needs to be said: that beautiful grill mark you're proud of might be the exact reason your brain is under attack. If you're over 65, grilling red meat until it's charred could be slowly preparing your brain for a future it won't recover from. But perhaps the most dangerous meat of all isn't red or processed. It's one we assume is healthier just because it's white. Yet when deep fried or industrially raised, it becomes a hidden storm of trans fats, salt, and it may be sitting on your plate tonight. 5. Fried chicken and factory-raised poultry, a hidden storm inside your arteries. Most seniors believe white meat is the healthier choice, and for good reason. For years, doctors and dietitians have encouraged people to switch from red meat to chicken. But there's a dangerous detail that's rarely discussed. Not all chicken is created equal, and for older adults, especially those over 65, the wrong kind of chicken can quietly contribute to high blood pressure, clogged arteries, and even stroke. Let me share the story of Mrs. Dorothy Simmons, year-old retired piano teacher from Oregon. Living alone, she often reached for simple takeout options, especially fried chicken. "It's better than burgers," she said. "Sunday dinners from my childhood." She didn't drink, didn't smoke, and took her medications on time. But over time, she began experiencing fatigue, brain fog, and moments of lightheadedness that became harder to ignore. Then one morning, Dorothy lost her balance in the kitchen. Her blood pressure had skyrocketed overnight at the hospital. Scans revealed early signs of vascular narrowing in the brain, the kind that often leads to a major stroke. The surprising culprit, not salt alone, not age alone, of eating fried poultry coated in batter, cooked in reused oils, and often sourced from industrial farms. Here's what makes it so dangerous for fried chicken. Skin and processed poultry parts are loaded with trans fats, fats that increase LDL cholesterol and decrease HDL cholesterol. These fats don't just harm your heart. They inflame the lining of your cerebral arteries, restricting blood flow to critical brain regions. Over time, an ideal environment for clots, mini strokes, or full-blown cerebrovascular accidents. But there's more. Factory-raised chickens are often treated with growth hormones and antibiotics, which leave behind residue that disrupts hormonal balance and vascular health, especially in aging bodies with slower metabolism and less detox capacity. Combine that with sodium-heavy marinades, and you've got a perfect storm: fat, heat, all working silently against your brain. Dorothy's wake-up call came just in time. She avoided a stroke, but not the consequences. Fully returned, she now walks with a cane and lives with the constant fear of the next episode. She told me, "I thought chicken was safe. I never imagined it would threaten my independence." And that's the real price, not just your health but your freedom, your ability to live life on your own terms. So before you reach for that crispy drumstick, ask yourself, is this taste worth the risk of losing my voice, my thoughts? Now, if all of this has left you wondering what you can eat to protect your brain, don't worry. There's good news. The most powerful medicine for your brain isn't in a pill bottle or a supplement. In your kitchen, if you know what to look for. What should you eat to protect your brain? After hearing about all the meats that can harm your brain, many seniors are left wondering, what can I eat? Then what's left? Fair question, and a vital one. Your body, especially after age 60, wasn't designed to thrive on synthetic vitamins or highly processed meats. It was built to heal, best with real whole natural food, the kind your brain can recognize and use in the right amounts without side effects. Let me tell you about Mrs. Margaret Wilson, 73 years old, school principal from Arizona. When she first came to my office, she was exhausted mentally and physically. She had high blood pressure, low energy, slipping. Her kitchen cabinet was overflowing with bottles. Vitamin D for her bones, E for her heart, B complex for energy, and a brain booster she bought online. "I'm doing everything right, but I just don't feel like myself anymore." After reviewing her labs and her diet, the issue was clear. Her brain was starving, but for real nutrients from food, we made one bold decision. Together, we removed the unnecessary supplements and the sodium-packed frozen meals instead. Real meals, thoughtfully timed and purposefully designed for brain health. Her breakfast became a foundation. One boiled egg, clean protein, half an avocado, healthy fat, a slice of whole grain toast, steady energy, bowl of blueberries, antioxidants, glass of room temperature water to rehydrate the brain. Lunch was a colorful plate of leafy greens like spinach and kale, grilled salmon rich in omega-3s, and a handful of walnuts. Dinner was lighter quinoa, steamed vegetables, and herbal tea. And here's what happened. Within 3 weeks, Margaret's mind was clearer. Pressure stabilized. She felt grounded again, emotionally steadier. For the first time in years, she told me, "I felt like I was feeding my brain, instead of just trying to fix it." This wasn't a diet, it was a reset, because the brain needs certain key ingredients. Hydration to keep blood flow smooth, omega-3 fatty acids to protect neurons, antioxidants to fight inflammation, fiber and whole grains to support circulation, and micronutrients in natural form, not synthetic overdoses. The cost of ignoring this: cognitive decline, increased risk of stroke, memory loss,
and most heartbreaking of all, the slow erosion of your independence. So the question isn't if food matters for your brain, it's how soon will you start making it matter. And if you've come this far, I want you to stay with me for just one more moment. Because what I'm about to share next may be the most important message of all. The final life-saving reminder every senior in America needs to hear before they reach for their next supplement or slice of meat. Protect your brain, protect your life. If you're over 60, every bite you take, you keep, and every pill or piece of meat you consume, it matters more than ever before. Because the body you have now is not the same body you had at 30 or 40. Your brain, your arteries, they're aging quietly on you to protect them, not overwhelm them. The truth is, most seniors aren't told the full story. No one warns you that a slice of bacon or a few slices of deli ham could be setting the stage for a stroke in the middle of the night. No one tells you that fried chicken or even nutritious organ meats might raise the pressure in your brain or clog tiny vessels that once kept your thoughts clear and your hands steady. And yet, I see patients whose lives are forever changed by small choices. They didn't think twice about meals eaten out of habit, not knowledge. They didn't do anything wrong, they just didn't know. But now you do. The good news is, it's never too late to turn things around. Your brain is still capable of healing. Your vessels can stabilize, and your energy can return, but only if you give your body what it truly needs. Clean foods, hydration, movement. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be aware.
Start today. Start with breakfast. Read your labels, question your supplements all. Listen when your body whispers before it screams. Because what you protect today could be the reason you're still thinking clearly, walking steadily, and living fully 5-10 years from now. So here's my final question to you. What is one small change you can make today to protect the one organ that holds your memories, your voice, and your very sense of self? These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now I'd love to hear from you, to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. Feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.